Welcome everyone again here. Excited to have everyone joining us. As a quick icebreaker to start / audio check moment, I would love for you guys in the Zoom chat to post in like where you're tuning in from today, just kind of selfishly see all the cool places and also make sure you guys can hear me okay. Well, I'm taking the Zoom chat, the healthy Zoom chat going on that everyone's hearing me okay. So good to see. And we got some people from all over. So very nice, guys. Again, I want to just welcome everyone and start by saying thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come listen to me ramble about some new features for an hour. Very excited to talk about our new screen customization tools as well as our 3PL client portal today. A little bit about myself. I've worked at Finale for over a year as an onboarding specialist now. I actually recognize many of your names here from the chat, so I've worked with a lot of you. But if I haven't worked with you, you'll soon learn that I tend to talk way too much, so brace yourself. As well as, I think that the talking too much probably is hand in hand with how much I love my job. So I'm super excited to be your host today. And then I know in the chat and a few messages I've gotten just as a housekeeping tool here, we are recording the webinar today. So we will be sending out a recording of that as well, just from a housekeeping standpoint. Another fun fact, if anyone is interested or maybe a secret Pokemon master on the weekends or something, please hit me up. I'd love to schedule a battle. I'm very competitive, so I'll be on the lookout for that after the webinar as well. As I already mentioned today, I will be providing an overview of our new screen customization features and introducing our 3PL client portal. You can see in the agenda here, I'm going to just do a quick overview here in PowerPoint and then also hop into the software for a live demonstration. The goal is to finish the presentation and plenty of time to field questions at the end. So as you guys are having those random nuggets of wisdom pop in your head, or if you see something or have a question as we go through the presentation today, please just throw those in the chat and we'll get to you at the end of the presentation. So you can't start with the new without first recognizing the past and identifying the drivers behind the change. As many of you know and remember, and you're probably laughing as you look at this picture here, our screen customization process took some effort. You had to manually type in column widths, you had to check boxes to determine if something was visible or not on the screen, as well as probably the most annoying, use up and down arrows to position the columns into the desired order that you wanted to see them. And as many of you know and can relate, this took some time. It took some effort. And this is where we start today by saying thank you again for all your feedback, all of you reaching out through our support channels to give us feature requests. This is where this starts. And so thank you again. And we're excited to address these concerns and also implement some change with it. Taking your feedback into consideration, as a team internally, we wanted to tackle this from 5 different directions. First, as we discussed, we wanted to just improve the basic functionality and also simplify the process. Then we wanted to add the ability to configure columns by location and also save custom view presets. And lastly, with these updates and changes working hand in hand, this also eliminates the need for some of the basic reporting and also reduces the learning curve for your team. Ultimately, our goal is to make your day-to-day more seamless and easy and an easier experience. From a functionality standpoint, simple is almost always better. Now, as you can see on the left, we have a screen customization option that allows the user to easily select a column and make edits right from the same screen without being navigated to your application settings. In addition, you can drag and drop columns to reorder their positioning, resize columns and rename columns, and even add column group headers to further enhance the organization on the screen. In addition to that, after you get the screen exactly how you want it and you get that preset perfect, you can then save that preset as a view. This allows users or departments to create separate views that are saved for the entire team. So any team member could access the stock screen here, use our drop down and select whatever preset view that's already in the account, easily being able to switch between them seamlessly. And then perhaps the most highly anticipated feature being released today is our configurable columns that go into our screen customization. Prior to this update, the user was forced to see stock levels in totality. So you would have an on order units, for example, a quantity on hand and an available units, but you're seeing the total units for all of your warehouses in one view. The only way to segment that would be using a location filter, as you can see in the picture at the top. Here, you would have to filter between the different locations to segment your view, and you're constantly having to switch views to see different things. This new feature update allows you to see location-specific inventory on the same screen without having to jump back and forth between those different views. The columns also have the configuration options to distinguish between K-stock or eaches, as well as to distinguish between including BOM units or supplier units. Lastly, for all of our 3PL customers out there, we also wanted to introduce our 3PL client portal. This is a portal designed for your clients. They can now access their inventory levels through your portal, providing the transparency that every client wants. In a very, very simplistic overview, your clients are associated to the specific product list in your Finale account. So when they access your client portal, that customer sees their specific product list only. This will be a huge time save for you, eliminating the need to send all those extra emails late at night and in the morning, or freaking out with stock updates, as well as hopefully reduce the emails you just receive from your clients. We're very excited to not only launch this, but also continue to support and develop this tool. In the future, we actually hope to further enhance this feature by also adding a stock history screen, as well as a 3PL client billing tool. This feature is currently in beta mode, and it will be an add-on option for any pricing plan, and we will release more information on that in the coming weeks. So that's a quick overview today of the new tools that we are launching. I'm going to now hop into the actual software here that you're more familiar with and actually give a live demonstration. But I did want to take a couple more seconds here to remind everyone that if you do have questions or anything pops into your mind, please just throw those questions in the chat and we will get to you at the end of the demonstration here. All right, so I'm going to switch tabs here, and hopefully everyone is familiar with our home screen here. Very clean, very simple. To start off with our screen customization, I'm going to follow the same kind of roadmap I did in the presentation. So those new screen presets and screen customization tools can be seen all of our different list screens, whether you're on the purchase order side, the sales order side, or even in our basic stock and product views. Today, I'm going to start the presentation in the stock view. So here's a view that many of you are used to seeing. This is just like a very default view that you would have for like a stock overview in your account. To begin the screen customization process, many of you would go to the actions at the top here and hit customize columns. And you unfortunately get this little oop moment where you get the dialog box saying it's been moved. This is where our new feature is coming into play. So we've actually moved this to the opposite side of the screen now. So now you actually see the screen name with a colon, and then it gives you your preset view that you're in. And then hitting the drop down arrow at the top left here will actually drop down all of your preset views and the ability to customize. So I can switch from that default view to an example screen, again, as an example, and I can see this preset, or I can switch back to my default view very seamlessly, very quick and easy. To start today, I actually want to rebuild this example view here with you. So I'm going to start with an actual blank page here, and I'm going to have actually build a build me preset in preparation of the webinar here. So I just have my product ID, my description, and sublocation. Very basic, very easy to work with, and we're going to actually customize this screen. So to customize, again, I'm going to my arrow. I'm selecting customize columns in this build me view. And now I get my little gear icons that we're all familiar with. And this is how you begin the editing process. So selecting the gear icon, I can actually add a column to the right. I can remove a column. I can edit the specific column that we're on, or start a new column group, which I mentioned in the presentation earlier. For the purpose of this, I'm going to add a column to the right, and I'm going to add a configurable column called on order. By selecting this, you see the word configurable. This is just a fancy way to say you have options. So under here, I actually can include if I want to do K-stock or OpenStock or a combination of both. I can also specify the location. So the default would be dynamic from filters, which is the base view that you're all accustomed to and able to see. The specific location allows you to actually segment your location. So now I could actually say like, hey, I want this to be the on order units of the East Coast warehouse only. Or I could say I want to see, the locations of the West Coast. If you had multiple locations, you can actually add multiple here. So you can even combine the different locations into that filter. For the purpose of this, I'm going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it dynamic for now. And the first step, just to show the past before I jump to the future here. The bill of materials can also be excluded or included, as well as the supplier units. For the purpose of this, I'm just going to keep everything simple and add this column. Before I add, one last thing to do would be our label. So this is how you would actually name the column. So to me, the word configurable just seems a little bit much. So I'm going to backspace that off and actually add this on order column. I'm going to do the same thing for a few other columns here to continue to build. So I'm going to also do, let's do available. Again, just keeping this very basic. I'm going to change all the names to keep them simple. And I'm going to keep the base filters on for now. We'll do remaining. And then lastly, everyone knows this one on hand. And again, I'm just going to keep this simple. I'm actually going to say QOH just to keep it in my terminology. And I like the simpler kind of layout here. So now I have a basic view that we're all familiar with seeing. If I save this custom view, it's just going to set this in stone. But maybe I want to reorder these or resize them. I could actually, if I'm used to seeing quantity on hand up here and maybe the remaining first, I can just drag and drop these columns. And now I have the order that I want. I can also select a column and you can see the pixels, and I can actually drag and drop similar to like an Excel spreadsheet function to be able to resize my columns right from the screen. The other thing is our column group headers. So to demonstrate the location-based inventory a little bit further, I want to use my location filter. So this first product actually has product stocked in both locations. We have it in our East Coast and our West Coast location. If I filter the location to East Coast, you can see the filtered product changes and we're just seeing the East Coast stock. Everyone's familiar with this. This is how Finale has always worked. Same for West Coast. I can now filter it again and you see those stock change based on the filter. To further show this to the location-based inventory, I'm going to actually go back to my customized column view and I'm going to make this into a grouping. So I'm going to add a new column group and I'm going to call this overview. Now I have a column header as an overview, and I can actually merge these different columns into this group. Now, the long way to do this would be, here's my overview. I could also build my configurable columns for the East Coast and the West Coast all separately and just specify those configurable column filters that we did before right in this area. To save time, we actually have a new mechanism. So if I go to the column view, now that I've built my overview, I can actually click this and I can edit my column group and actually go to this repeat option, select repeat for each location. This is going to streamline your customization process and go ahead and add those columns for each location. So I'm going to edit my overview. And then when I save my column configuration, now I have that same built and I have my East Coast overview, and now I have my West Coast overview. And so in one click, I now have all those columns and they're all location specific now. And again, to highlight that, you can see I have my sublocation here for the East Coast, and you can see that it reflects these 12 units. And then I have my different units over here at the West Coast. And so it's different stock. And I have some products, as you can see at the top, stored in the West Coast, and some products here towards the bottom that are stored just at the East Coast. So it's giving you that stock, giving you the stock view that you want to see on the screen. This is the very basics. I don't want to, spend too much time getting super granular with you today, but here's some of the basic screen customization tools that you have at your disposal. And I'm actually really super excited to see all of you take this a step further and be sending us and teaching us stuff as you guys build some of the new views yourself. So we're really excited to see what you guys do with this. The other point is the other screens. So if I actually go to my sales order overview, I have those same presets available. So here's the basic sales order page. On this sales order page, you can see I have 2 manual orders by the source. And I also have one order that was shipped to Arizona as an example. So I actually have presets here as well. Instead of building one from scratch, I'm just going to use a couple that I've already built. So I have a source example view. If I hit this source example screen view, it's actually a filtered view just for manual orders. So you see those 2 manual orders are actually on the screen. If I go to this more filter, you can see that this filter was already applied. And so you can actually put in filters and then save those filters that you have on the screen under this option, and it will save the filters to your view as well. And this works for all the listing screens in addition. The other example would be maybe if I wanted to do sales by a region, I could do regional sales, and this one's actually filtered to Arizona, so you see the one Arizona order. Again, if I go back to my default view, I have all my open sales orders. So just to kind of further prove we have the features available on multiple screens. That's the basics for our screen customization. The next thing I want to highlight is the 3PL client portal. I know there's probably a few questions about what this is, and so I just want to try to simplify and explain it a little bit. Essentially, if you're a fulfillment company and you're fulfilling for other companies, and so you have your own clients and you're doing fulfillment for those clients, you're managing their inventory and you're fulfilling their orders. Those clients then are going to want to communicate with you and want to be able to see stock levels for their inventory that they're sending you and that you're fulfilling from. And so this portal allows those clients that you'd be servicing to be able to log in and see their inventory without having to wait for a response from you via email or a report or whatever method you're using to communicate with. So this is about saving time and energy and hopefully reducing the amount of emails that you have currently with your clients. To demonstrate this, the first place you want to start is the customer area. So if I navigate to the customer area, and maybe my client is Ash Ketchum to keep my Pokemon theme going. So here's my client. I have Ash Ketchum here. And if I scroll to the very bottom, you'll see that we have a new little area called portal users. Here I can add portal users. This is similar to how you would add a Finale user to your account. It's just you're not doing your application settings because you're not making them a user on your specific Finale account. Instead, you're giving them access to that client portal. So here's where you add them. You would put their email in, and you can simply just press the button, and I can just keep my theme here and actually just say, Portal 04. And then I don't know if I just lived under a rock for a little while or what, but I learned a cool new feature where I can just do this plus sign and it still works. This is definitely a personal email. So if anyone wants to Pokemon me later, this is how you get a hold of me. And so now I have the user added here. The last thing to say here would be our product stores. So the product stores is how you actually map those customers back to the products. So here you can see I have Amazon, or I have a couple of client examples. Think of this as like if you have your Shopify stores or your different marketplaces like Amazon and BigCommerce. If you have those set up for those specific customers, you can actually just select those integrations here and it will map the products that you have linked to those different shelling platforms to be able to identify those to the customer. We also have a few other ways to add as well, and I will demonstrate that next. But for this simplicity, I'm just going to use the webinar customer that I've already pre-built. So this portal user, Ash Ketchum, under Portal 04 or any of these portals are going to see the webinar customer products. To demonstrate this, you can go to integrations and you can see all the different marketplaces you have. And these are where the term product lookups come into play. And I'm sure through the onboarding process, you guys have heard the term product lookup 1,000 times by your onboarding support specialist. So you all are most likely very familiar, but these are where the integrations live. We also added a couple of things. So in the application settings under product, one thing to highlight would be the store section. So here's where I added that webinar customer as an example today. But if I had clients that I needed to group that maybe I didn't have an integration for, this is where you could add those to be able to segment those clients to the products. Then to further demonstrate the mapping, if I go to the product page, I have a few different ways I can do this filter. So I could take this filter off and you can see that in the account, I have 24 SKUs as example SKUs right now. However, if I go to this new filter that we just added, product stores, this is specific to the lookup that product is associated to. So if I actually filter by the webinar customer that I added as a lookup, you can now see that this customer has 5 products that I fulfill for this customer. If I click on one of these products and scroll to the bottom, you can see the product lookup also identifies that webinar customer, which is what that filter is using to pull. So again, you see that I have my 5 customers here, or I have my 5 products, 5 products for that one webinar customer. Lastly, this portal is for you. So yes, we built it for you, but it's your portal. So if I go to application settings, I also have a generic logo here that I'm going to use, but it's your logo and it's your portal. So when your client logs in, they're going to see their logo that's in your application settings with your color scheme. So now I'm going to actually demonstrate this by logging in to the client portal. So let's pull up a new tab here. And so here's that link that I was sent via email to log in with. And I'm just going to actually make this full screen so you can see it a little better. So I'm going to say portal 03, and then I'm going to put a password in here. Don't steal my identity, everyone. All right, and log in. Again, you had that logo on the login page that they can see so they can identify it's you. Your logo is still up here. And then here is our basic stock view. If you had stock in multiple locations for the customer, they still have some filters at their disposal that they can see and use, but they don't have those same screen customization tools built in like you would. Here's the basic overview. Again, they only see the products associated, and that's the major point, major takeaway here. And again, this is a beta product. So this is, the first iteration of this. We do hope to later add a 3PL client billing tool. And we also hope to add a stock history screen so the customer will have a little bit more visibility. That concludes our demonstration portion today. We just wanted to keep it very, very basic and not get too granular, but wanted to introduce all of the new features. I hope everyone enjoyed the demonstration, and I'm now going to pop into the chat here to field some questions. Please, if you have questions coming up, just throw them in the chat for us. All right, I'm going to start with, I got a question. Can these columns be configured to sublocation or just location? The columns are actually configured to the location level. Good question, though. Can the views be specific to the user so I can only see my views? Currently, the views are presets that are saved for the entire account. So actually anyone in the team could access the view. But so currently the answer to that's no. That could be something that we add later. Could you use the client portal for staff? Yeah, if you wanted to add the client portal as an add-on module, you could use it for staff if you had staff that just needed to see a stock level but didn't need to see, reporting or the actual functionality within Finale on and to be able to make edits and that type of thing. If you had a staff, reason for that, there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to use that. Can you add a section so clients are able to see images of the products? Yes, you do have the ability to add columns and images. That is something that we could probably add. And in the base view, it's not there currently, but that is something that we do have data for because we have your pictures in your Finale account already. So it wouldn't be a hard add-on. Yes, this client actually asked a really good question about, do they have access to making changes to the inventory? No, your client would have zero access to make changes. All that portal is there is to show them what the stock levels are. That's all they're able to do. Does the customer portal show sublocation as well? It does show sublocation, yes. How can we set up this portal, and is it integration and is it an integration in the Finale inventory integration list? So currently it's in beta. It hasn't fully launched. It's actually launching very, very soon. So you should see some email communication for when it goes live. But it will be something that we just add to your account. It would be an add-on module to any plan. So it's an extra charge that would happen per month, but we will release some more information about that. But once it's added to your account, then you would have access. Is it possible as of now to map a customer to a product store, or is that only with the beta portal? No, that is possible. You can map customers to the products already. Yeah, good question though. How do you add this 3PL function for testing? Again, this is a beta product right now, so it's not fully rolled out. But I really do like the 3PL questions. This is great. So it's not really available to test, but we can add you to the list of someone that's interested. If you send an email to service@Finale Inventory to say that you're interested, we'd love to gauge the interest, but this will be rolling out very shortly. Can we include the supplier quantity and name as if it was our own alternate warehouse? I'm not sure if I understand the question all the way, but you can, if during those screen customizations, you can hide and remove columns. So you could basically customize the screen exactly how you want it. And if you want to call it something else, so like if you want to call West Coast Warehouse, but include the supplier units, you very well could do that. It's totally however you want to name it and however you want to customize the configuration. We currently don't have the ability to lock the columns, but that's a great feature request. So thank you for bringing that up. When stock history is added, what information is planned to be shown on that screen? Will users be shown? Great question. We haven't actually fully mapped that out yet, so I don't have all the details to say, today, like this is what's going to happen. But the goal of the history is to be able to see inventory going in and out. So you're seeing your stock transactions of things that have been removed by maybe they're removed because they're damaged, or they're going out with sales or coming in on a purchase order, and that's reflected so the customer could see the stock history trace of that product. Our goal is to never, cross-reference and show something you guys don't want to show, though. So we will keep that in mind as we continue to develop that feature. Would I be able to show client products in specific categories only, or would they see any and all products associated with the store? So on that view page, the client, if they log into the portal, actually has the ability to filter by category. So they're going to be mapped to their specific products mapped to that customer. You can't stop that part because that's their products, but that customer could then, filter to whatever category they wanted to see and be able to see that view. Will there be more filtering options on all columns when viewing the product page? I think I'm understanding this question about like how we add those additional filters based on what's on the screen. That is true for most of our columns, but it's not true for all of the columns. So on some of them, yes, on some of them, no. Some of them are not filter columns. So it really depends on the column being added to the screen. Can we modify what information the customer sees in the 3PL portal? Currently, no. Currently, it's just a stock overview. Again, it's a very first iteration of this, and it's in a beta version right now. So you're getting the very bare bone kind of new feature that we're launching. We are going to continue to put some time and resources into this to continue to develop it. So as we go, there'll probably be a lot more customization that you can achieve there. But currently, it's just a quick stock view. Can a customer place an order through this portal? That is the goal later. Again, we're in the very beta version of the product, but it is something that we hope to add at a later time, but it's not there yet. You can on the portal can the portal show a set percentage of inventory? So no. Their customer's gonna see the actual what's in your Finale account when they log in for their product list. Now they can filter, so they could filter by whatever location they want to see, or they can segment with filters, but they could still see the total inventory. I don't have a hard date for when that 3PL feature will launch. It will be very, very soon though, because it's already in beta, and it should be rolling out soon. Again, I'm really excited to see all these questions about the 3PL client portal. I feel like got a lot of interest here for that. So I'm super excited about that. I'm not seeing many more questions. So if you have anything, please go ahead and throw them in the chat here, and we'll keep going. Is the 3PL portal a per store fee or a single fee? It's going to be an add-on to your plan. So it would be adding that feature at this cost starting out, and then we'll revamp the pricing as we add more features to it. And we'll send more information on this in the coming months or in the coming weeks as we go ahead and launch this fully. If I have inventory in 2 different warehouses, do they need to filter for a specific warehouse, or can I set that up on my end? I'm assuming this is about the client portal. Yes, they're going to see the total. They're going to see like the old kind of Finale approach of the totality. So if you had, 10 units in your West Coast and 10 in the East Coast, they're going to see 20, but they have that same little plus sign ability to drop down and see what's in what location. And they also can use the location filter to be able to segment that. How do we join the beta? If you send an email to service@finaleinventory.com telling us that you're interested, we can add you to the list, and that should be rolling out very soon. Eventually, when Finale allows customers to place orders through the portal, can we block that for our customers? We have our own WooCommerce store already. Yeah, so that's way down the road. That's not even something that we're 100%, going to have, in the near future. So I wouldn't worry about that for now. And then as we do launch new features, I'm sure there's going to be ways to customize how that rolls out. So I wouldn't worry about that as of now. Is there approximate cost set in place for 3PL to start off? I don't have any costing information today. I just know it's going to be an add-on option for any plan. So it doesn't matter what plan you're on, you can still add this 3PL functionality to it. And more to come on that in the very, very near future. Is the new feature going to be available for the reorder screen? Oh, great question. And I think I recognize who asked this one. I think you're referring to, if I'm mistaken, I apologize, but I think you're referring to the screen customization tools. And the question is not yet, but it's hopefully something that we implement soon after, but that is not part of our list screens yet. So as we update our other screens, you'll see that screen customization come to those screens as well. We did, however, add a lot of the reorder information to the product and stock columns. So now you can actually add reorder information to those product and stock screens. So you can customize those screens to see a reorder view. But we don't have that on the actual reorder screen yet. Is the new feature, let's see here. All right, I think I've got most of the questions here. Is there any other last questions here? I'll give a few more minutes for everyone to get some last minute stuff in before I shut it down. Is there an extra charge for the screen customization? No, that's just a new feature that's built into the account as a base feature. No new charge for that. The only thing that's charged today on that we would cover would be the 3PL client portal. All right, let's see here. Once launched, will we have to add each customer individually, or can it be allowed to all customers universally? I think I'm understanding this. So for that customer, like if you have that client in your customer profile, you would have to add the portal users. You couldn't get around that because it's going to require that user to set up an email and password and whatnot to be able to log into your portal. But once you have the stores associated to it, and you have the users, you wouldn't have to like, have a separate store association for each user you're adding, because the user would be on that client. So, that client is associated to all of the stores. So as you add additional users, are seeing the same information. Oh my gosh, I love the which 3 starter Pokemon would you choose? I'm actually a homer for Fennekin. So I know it's an unpopular one, but Fennekin's where it's at. All right, guys. Any other questions? I'm gonna leave this open for just a minute or two more before we log off. And then housekeeping, I just wanted to reiterate, we will be sending a recording of the webinar out after it concludes today, so you'll have a copy for reference as well. Oh, I like the glasses question too. I actually got them from Zenny. Shout out to Zenny there. Hopefully you're asking because you like them. All right, guys. Well, I think we got most of the questions today. So I just wanted to thank you all again for taking the time out of your day to come hang out with us. I hope these new features are something you're excited about, and we're really, really excited to continue to develop our software and continue to support you guys. So I hope everyone has a good rest of your day.